Okay, so right now today is going to be our trip to Nova Scotia, Halifax, and it's going to be pretty wet out there. And I just checked Halifax's weather. Yikes, a lot of rain and a lot of thunderstorm, but it's going to be pretty exciting. Also, it's been like really humid around the East Coast so far for the past couple of days. Let's see what Halifax has to offer. And let's see what memories I can get from when I was 20 years ago. Yep, just a little bit cloudy, but pretty soon, in probably a couple hours or so, it's going to see some rain as well. I guess we'll see what the road trip is going to be like with this, rain or torrential rainfall, depending how bad it is to be, because I felt like we could have a severe thunderstorm here as well. But let's try to get to Halifax safely, though.
We were pretty lucky because at this point it didn't start raining yet until an hour later. And it was so hard and heavy, and that you can even see some of the mist coming off the truck that was driving beside as well. It was wet, but after a couple hours later, we finally made it to Nova Scotia.
So, after a 2-hour drive from New Brunswick all the way to Nova Scotia, I'm now at the most upper part of Halifax, Dartmouth City. Apparently, I still have a few ways to go and to actually reaching Halifax, and this is Halifax. It's pretty amazing, and that green bridge up there, I'm not sure if you guys can see it, that's the bridge that I'll be taking in order to get up and drive down to Halifax as well. It's going to be interesting, and we'll see what Halifax is like. Okay, so right across right now, I'm in an Alderey Landing, and this place is both a theater, market gallery, and also a ferry terminal as well. Because behind me, that's where all the ferries would come by to take people across the sea into the downtown Halifax center. And this area is just usually used for let's say grabbing food, drinks, or even just sightseeing a little bit as well. It's pretty cool. Okay, so this is Alderey Landing, and it looks like the vendors are already setting up as well. It's pretty cool. And this is where we would be right here. So later afterwards, we're just going to go across this bridge called McDonald Bridge, and that will take us to the downtown area of Halifax. Okay, so the Alderey Landing Center, that place over there, that has a really good place for some restaurants and some shops as well. It's really cool. There's this nice community vibe as well, and as well as the food's really good. It's also good if you're on the go, that kind of stuff, because they also have things like one of those stalls that already have these pre-made foods as well, something like tarts or pastries, that kind of thing, both sweet and savory as well. So if you guys are in a rush or need a quick lunch or are planning on having a really early lunch, that kind of stuff, this is the place to go.
And we were on the road again. After paying the toll fee, we managed to get to McDonald Bridge, and we headed to our next destination. One of the coolest things that I found in Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I thought that was pretty cool to visit once again, Fort Halifax.
So this is our next stop, Fort Halifax, or Citadel Halifax. So we're just going to go inside this museum to see what it's like, and also learn the history about it as well. This kind of thing I love to visit, because it's so interesting of why there's a fortress here, or what's the story behind the fortress. But anyway, let's go see the fortress. So this is from the outside wall, and now we're on the inside. The citadel is a star shape, I think, because that's what I can tell from the map. But man, this is really cool. See? Fortress Halifax. What if this was used to be the barracks? And I love this open wide space this is as well. This was probably a prison or something. Oh, this is cool. And here's a little museum. The Great Harbor. Oh, sweet. I guess this is just to explain the layout of like how the fortress was made or how they developed like building the fortress. Oh, I do like this gallery. Oh, I guess it's broken. The shoulder things. Okay, this is really, really cool. I'm pretty sure even today. Oh, cool. The governing town. 1749, Governor Edward Cornwallis and his fleet sailed into Cojubuton with 2,576 men, women, and children came ashore to build a new home, and Halifax was born. Oh, cool. That's what it could have been like. And this was also the warship that they probably used. Oh, there's more in here. Oh, check it out. A sailor's uniform. Whoa. Okay, this is pretty cool. This display shows the many different types of cannons when the country was in war, well, during around the 1700s. Oh, this is pretty cool. Oh, cool, and they show you how they do it. Like from the loading process to the firing. And the different type of cannons that they used at that time as well. Oh, this is really cool. Even like how it works.
Fort Halifax had really cool stuff. The lower level of the barracks showed about all the weapons and tools they used back in the 1700s. This was where the barracks, where the soldiers had lived during those times, in winter as well. Instructed by a tour guide, of course. And up there, you can see the entire courtroom area. But there was one cool thing about this place, was not only the many museums, but how Fort Halifax also played a role in World War I and World War II as well. Well, not exactly play the role, since I'm not exactly sure about the history even though I visited, but it showed a lot of cool World War I and World War II momentums in each room as well. But one of the coolest places along Fort Halifax was the ramparts that you get to climb on, unless that's what you called fortresses like these back in the 1700s. And the view was also amazing as well. From there you can see the entire yard from it, the cannons that was still placed back in the 1800s, and also explored the entire round of the ramparts as well. It was breathtaking, and it was cool to see the barracks how it was. And even exploring the barracks, it was a nice long walk with all the gravel, and kind of wet as well, so I was glad I wore sandals at that time. But it was kind of relaxing and really restful to see what it was like and explore all the jagged edges of the war. And even if you're up to it, you can try even firing out a musket that was dated back in the 1700s, or a replica of it at least.
Okay, so this concludes the adventures at Fort Halifax, and it's a really cool place. Who knew that this place was built around the 1700s, and then they started adding bricks around the 1800s as well. To this day, it becomes a museum. But it's amazing what history could teach us as well. Next, we're going to the Waterfront Center just to see and walk around like the area and see what Halifax is like as well. It's still wet and raining, but it should be okay.
After saying goodbye to Fort Halifax, it was time to go and visit the Harbourfront Center here at Halifax. And Halifax Harbourfront was really interesting. It was a relaxing kind of vibe around the area with some live music from the restaurants and the shops around the area, and also the freshness of the sea air that was close to the port. It was also nice to see how locals live their lives around this area and see how great this place was as well.
Oh man, I wonder what happened to the streetlights over here. But I guess this is what happened. Oh, cool. Doing human things. Got drunk and fell down features fallen light stand, while the second light seems to look on with concern. Fountain illustrates a biological need not to frequently associate with keeping our streets illuminated after dark. This playful installation points to mischief behaviors often witnessed in other cities and waterfront. It's kind of cute though. Oh, and cool. Oh, there's a lot more to explore. But this is kind of really cool artwork as well. Oh, cool. This is a retired warship, and it looks like they invite like many people to come and visit as well. It'll be interesting seeing what's on board. Although I don't think I may have time to do that. But this is really cool. It's really relaxing as well.
One of the coolest places that you can visit in Halifax is this old warship that they have. This warship was decommissioned and is now placed as a museum for a lot of visitors to see. It had a lot of cool history of like when it was used, what it was used for, and how it helped out several wars as well back in its day. It was an interesting experience to see what naval history was like for Canada and Nova Scotia.
There's a lot of really cool places to see. This ship is one of them. Oh, this chimney stuff, cool. And also the flags. Okay, this place is really cool. I think this is like one of the machine guns that was used on the ship. But here's one interesting fact though. I'm not sure you guys can see it, but whoa, that'd be cool. Oh, you can even see some of the stuff like the lifeboats and even more of the Jimmy stack as well. Okay, this place is like probably where the sailors' quarters were. And there were some hammocks over here too. It's a tight squeeze, but
Ok, on va remonter comme ça, papa.
Ouais, on descend, on se passe sur le côté, laisser le monsieur passer. La madame.
Excusez-moi. Yep. And this down here is the engine room. Whoa.
Okay, this is the galley. Whoa. And my right that I passed by were like probably the officer's room. The ship's office. The sick bay for like surgeries, that kind of stuff. And this would probably be the main room.
That's the first thing I noticed. Yeah.
Oh, whoa. It's nice they have AC here. Oh, convoy fleets. And a lot of war artifacts as well. I wonder what this thing is. Yeah.
Oh, this is it. Oh, this is it. Yeah. You take a pic of this.
A little bit later.
Later. How late?
And I guess this is more at the captain quarters. Oh, look at the cute cats.
That was really cool being on a warship though. Well, a retired warship. But it has a lot of interesting history. This warship right behind me, I think it was used to battle like enemy submarines during its time as well. But the ship won't continue on to battle. And which I think it's been retired and converted into a museum. But it's a really cool experience to see what it was like back then and what was like the inside of the ship like that as well.
Moving on, we decided to visit this little plaza, which is also really great for shops as well. However, not many of the shops I was willing to look at, because the thing is that I want to find something that represented Nova Scotia right for my souvenir collection. But maybe not in here, but maybe somewhere else. But it was a really nice place to visit. It was even near another landing that takes you across the ocean.
Okay, so after an early dinner-ish back in like Halifax, we are now here at Peggy Cove. And one of the coolest places about Peggy Cove is there's this really nice lighthouse. And there's also a trail that I'm heading up tomorrow as well. But there's one thing you can never stop about looking at Peggy Cove, the view. The seaside's amazing, but things have changed. I still don't remember much, or if I even came into Peggy Cove when I was about 8 years old. But one thing for sure, the view is spectacular, so that's something I might remember still. I mean, check this out. Lots and shops and restaurants. I don't remember if they were there or they were just new. Oh, cool. And that's the lighthouse trail, I think. Oh, wow. And this is Nova Scotia. It's breathtaking, isn't it?
I don't remember much of Peggy Cove from when I was 8 though, but it was still a really nice place to be as well. There were a lot of people at that time to take pictures of this beautiful lighthouse. By the sunset, that's the best place to see this whole lighthouse. And by sitting in the seaside, it feels like all your troubles would either wash away or be blown away by the wind. And that guiding light, the lighthouse you were in, would just shine away the darkness as well. But it also felt like I was Beth from The Lucky One. That's how it felt when I took selfies. But one thing for sure, even though my 8-year-old self won't remember, is that it was a really nice time, and this was exactly my last night here at Halifax. So it was best to make it count by staying here and by looking at the sunset and the lighthouse all day, all evening, till the sunset, and it was time to say goodbye.